Stranger there among them had a big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip.
Is Matt Larkin. So Matt, are you here?
I am here. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Well, I'm Matt Larkin. I'm a lifelong Republican, lifelong conservative, and I'm the guy who's going to beat Bob Ferguson this fall, and I'm excited about that. I was born and raised in the Seattle area, grew up in and around Seattle and Edmonds and in Magnolia, and went to law school at Gonzaga out in Spokane, so I've lived on both sides of the state. I got my law degree from Gonzaga and then went on to get a master's of law called an LLM at George Washington University Law School. I worked for President George W. Bush as an attorney in his speechwriting office and also as a speechwriter for him and also in his faith-based and community initiative office. And after my tenure in the White House, I helped him with his book, Decision Points. Then I moved back home to the great state of Washington and worked as a prosecutor in Pierce County. I was proud to do that work and proud to get involved in the legal system, but I learned a bunch of stuff too doing that. I transitioned out of that to the family business, which is a manufacturing company in Bothell. We manufacture waterworks pipeline products that brings clean drinking water to places all over the world. And we do it non-union across the board. All 600 of our employees are non-union, including our foundry in Sultan, Washington, which we're proud of. We're also very proud to manufacture our products here in the great USA. All of our competitors outsource, and we do 99% of our manufacturing here in this country, which is how it should be. I live in Woodinville with my wife and 4 little kids who are 10 and under. I apologize in advance if my little 2-year-old daughter pops her head in here and interrupts me, but we're trying to keep her out of the room right now. But thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here. I'm running because we need to take back the Attorney General's office, period. We've got a current AG who's running amok. He's suing the president 58 times. That's ridiculous. It should never be like that. He's wasting our taxpayer money. He's wasting the office's time and resources on stuff that doesn't make any difference. He's suing the U.S. Navy. My passed on grandfather, who was a proud veteran of the U.S. Navy, would be rolling over in his grave if he knew that his Attorney General was suing the Bremerton Naval Shipyard and also the base on Whidbey. It's insane what's going on in the Attorney General's office, and we need to take it back. And while Bob Ferguson is spending all of his time focused on the other Washington, D.C., he's neglecting this Washington, and this is the Washington who elected him to serve them. It's about time to tell Bob Ferguson to take a hike, and I'm ready to do that. Our parks are overrun with trash, tents, and needles. As a father of 4, I'm concerned about that. I'm a concerned Washingtonian. I'm a concerned business owner, and I'm a concerned dad. I can't even take my kids into the city or to the local parks anymore because I'm worried about what they're going to see. They're going to see someone laying there with a needle sticking out of their arm, or ODing in an alley, or they're going to be assaulted walking from the car. It's out of control. It needs to stop, and I'm going to do something about it as Attorney General. And someone needs to hold Bob Ferguson accountable for what's happened under his watch. Crime, drugs, homelessness are all up every single year under his 7 years as Attorney General. And no one's talking about it. The mainstream press isn't talking about it. They're not holding our chief law enforcement officer accountable for the law enforcement disaster that's going on in our state. And someone needs to hang that around his neck and call him out on it over and over and over. And I plan to do that as we march through the primaries and into November. We have friends, and I'll just tell you this quick story, who live in and around Seattle, and they have kids our age. And every Saturday before their soccer league started, all the coaches and parents had to walk across the field and pick up the needles. It got so bad a few weeks into the soccer league session that they had to cancel the league altogether. Why does that have to be okay? Why do we have to accept that as the new norm? Our leaders are telling you that this is the new norm and that we should get used to it. I'm here to tell them, no, this is not how things should be. This is not the new norm, and we don't have to accept it. We need to clean up our streets, help the homeless, and take back our parks for our kids, period. And something the Attorney General won't even address right now. With me, you'll find an AG who will always, always, always fight for the will of the people and lower taxes, including $30 car tabs. I was for $30 car tabs from the beginning, and I will fight for $30 car tabs going forward. With me, you'll find an attorney general who will always fight for your religious liberties. As a Christian, that's important to me and my family. And we're not going to persecute you from the attorney general's office because of your religious beliefs, which we're seeing now from this attorney general. With me, you'll find an AG who will always stand up to protect our children from the madness of comprehensive sex ed. As a father of 4 little kids, this fight is personal for me. This comprehensive sex ed bill is a horrific disaster, and someone needs to stand up and say, no, this isn't right. And you'll get that from me, from the podium of the attorney general when I'm elected. Finally, with me, you'll find an attorney general who will always, always stand up to protect your Second Amendment rights. You see an assault from this attorney general on your Second Amendment rights. As a lifelong gun owner, lifelong hunter, concealed carry holder, that's absolutely unconstitutional what you see from the attorney general's office. And that's going to stop when I'm in the AG seat. Someone needs to remind the Attorney General that Article 1, Section 24 of the Washington State Constitution takes it a step further, a little bit more restrictive than the U.S. Constitution. It says the right of an individual citizen to bear arms in defense of themselves shall not be impaired, period. And someone needs to remind Bob Ferguson about that. Finally, so I've been in high pressure situations working in the White House for the leader of the free world. I've learned to hate taxes and regulations as a business owner and as someone in the business community for 10 years now. I know the criminal justice system as a former prosecutor in Spokane and Pierce counties. And most important, as a father of 4 little kids, I know the urgency of what needs to be done, period. I can't afford 4 more years of Bob Ferguson. My oldest will be 14 by the time Bob Ferguson serves out his next term, and that's too late. That's why I'm getting into the race now. That's why we need to stop Bob Ferguson now. Stopping him now will stop him from his further ambitions of becoming governor in 4 years. So it's a 2-for-1. But my kids' worldviews are being shaped now. It's time for someone to stand up, someone with passion, someone who's young, who's a concerned father, and say enough is enough. And that's why I'm running. It's personal to me. We need a better, safer Washington now. I get asked all the time, hey, Matt, do you really think you can beat a 2-term sitting attorney general? And I smile and I say, of course I think we can beat him. I wouldn't be spending a year of my life stepping out of my job on an extended leave of absence to focus on this race if I didn't think we could win. I know we can win. With your help, we will beat Bob Ferguson. And I need your help. We need support. We need you to donate. We need you to sign up on the website, get involved. Everything you can do will help us beat him. So get behind me, please support me. We need you out there. I appreciate all the help you're doing already. And let's go to questions now.
Sounds good. We got just over 3 minutes left, so we got to kind of fly through the questions. But Miller Freeman, go ahead.
Sure.
Yes, thank you. Matt, can you talk about what you think the biggest legal issues we're facing in Washington are today, and rank them if you could as well, please? Thank you.
Oh, rank them. Oh, okay. I think an assault on the Second Amendment is a huge one. You saw that in 1639. That one's working its way up the courts. I would maybe put that as number 2 because for me, the parental issues, the comprehensive sex ed is first and foremost. It's fresh, it's new. I think we can run on that. And frankly, as I mentioned, as a father of 4 little kids, that one's personal. We need to take this thing back and put out a good message, unified from the party and from the candidates, and run on it because it's a popular issue. Most people don't agree with what's going on. Planned Parenthood should never be allowed in the schools. So that would be number 1. Gun control, overriding some of these asinine gun control policies would be number 2. And number 3, I think we have a huge issue with suing the president. President Trump does not deserve to be sued 19 times a year by the state of Washington. That's a huge one. And I don't want to go on and on because I know we only have a couple minutes, but hopefully that helps.
All right, Phil Wilson, go ahead.
Hey, Matt, I spoke with you back in December and was delighted to see you run. I think you sound like a fantastic candidate from what I've gotten to know you. I appreciate you participating in our convention last weekend. Thank you so much for making time for that. My question is concerning the current governor and attorney general and their relationship. And I'm just wondering if you had the governor you do and you are the attorney general in the current circumstance that we are facing with everybody being quarantined and shut up at home, how would you say that you would handle things differently?
Sure. Well, unfortunately, you see a governor standing there with his henchmen to his right in every press conference. You've got Bob Ferguson standing there silently while the governor makes his statements, and silence is agreement in a lot of cases, and that's kind of what it looks like. I would serve, if I'm unfortunate enough to serve with the current governor for 4 years, I would serve as a check and balance on what he's doing. He needs, and the role of the attorney general is to be, one of the many roles is to be a legal advisor to the governor and to the state of Washington. So you better believe I would be sending legal opinion after legal opinion and blowing up his phone time and time again saying, hey, you've stepped out of bounds here. This is my legal advice, back off. And that's how I would be handling it.
All right, I think